Welcome to you, my name's Dale and this is Dale's Addiction. Today I'm bringing to you my menagerie Q&A. Yes, that is right. This video is all about all of the different hides, skins, animal finishes that my bags are made of. So if this is not for you, please turn off right now. I totally respect your choice, as I hope that you respect mine also. I put out a question box on my Instagram stories several weeks ago now, asking you, because I get lots of questions about my exotics and my furry pieces, about how much I like them, how to wear them, wear and tear, storage, all the things. And so I put out a Q&A box on my stories and I got lots of questions, so thanks to you all. For context, in my collection I have, let's see if I can get them all. I have galusha, I have crocodile, I have lizard. Then I have some python, a little bit, water snake, I have astrakhan, I have mohair, and I have fox, and I have ostrich. So 9 different types. So for context, hopefully that helps you out in terms of what I can offer. And I'll add shearling in there because shearling kind of falls under the furry bags bit, and I have shearling too. The first question comes from Dawn. Hi Dawn. Is there a type of bag that you would never buy? For what reason? As in, I don't like it, or I find it to be ethically confronting. If I kind of step through those things, is there a type of bag I wouldn't buy? Look, python, I have like a teeny tiny little Pico bag in python. I do like the effect of python on bags. I like it more so in a matte effect than shiny. To me it feels more approachable because it's a snake. But yeah, it is very difficult to care for because the scales can lift on python. You can moisturize and nourish the python, and that sounds so odd. Connor has python trim and strap on his made to order peekaboo, and he treats it with a kind of a moisturizing cream, and it works a treat, and it has a matte finish. So I would probably say like a shiny python finish is something that I wouldn't buy because I'm not a fan of how it looks. If you're talking about, exotics and things in general, is there anything? Nothing that's popped up that I have seen so far has challenged me to that extent. This one comes from Mika Debbies. Do people or strangers comment on your bags? They are such standout pieces. Yes, they do sometimes. I have had a few comments from people saying not to take any of my Fox Fendi firsts. Here's one for you, to Paris. Yet last year when I was in Paris, it was fashion week at the same time, and I wore this bag out for a day crossbody. I also took it to dinner, and on both occasions people commented and said how beautiful it was. And obviously that's Paris, right? But I would expect there to be more openness in those sorts of cities at that time to these bags. I take this bag out in my local city and people love it because it is unique. Everybody wants to touch it. I just make sure, hey, have you got clean hands? Yes, of course you can. I think if people approach you and they want to get to know things, it is, in my view, it's not good to push back and exclude people or look down on people. To me, any inquiry or engagement is an opportunity to connect with people, and I think the more open you are to that, the better. But typically things like Gary, technically he's not part of the menagerie, but he's the most obvious part of the menagerie. Yeah, he definitely gets a lot of comments as well. Gary, aka the JW Anderson Pigeon Clutch. What's it like? What is the wear like on the fluffy ones? How easy is it to keep clean, avoid rain, etc, etc? This one's from Georgie Collie-Griff. The wear on all the fluffy bags is actually really good. I'll get out the mohair so you can see. I have worn this bag crossbody, and you can see on the back of it that it is still really clean. There's no colour transfer, but also that it is not matted or anything. So I tend to just get my fingers and kind of pull them through the little fibres so that they stand up and they don't get flattened or mattened. I wear this bag crossbody with things that will not colour transfer, so very light colours, and that just makes sense, right? With the fox is a bit different because it doesn't have the curl, and this is made of all of the kind of scraps from the atelier that they kind of dye and put together and be able to make this kind of really tufted kind of look. So this one it's a very different kind of textile, and I don't imagine that one ever flattening. I mean, it sits on the bottom, and that is the bottom of the bag. Like, it's still really fluffy. Also remembering that these are occasional pieces, and so they're not going to get the kind of wear and tear that, say, a regular leather bag that carries everything would. Now, this Fendi baguette from around 2005 in the shearling and metallic looks pretty good, I would say. Like, it's really clean. It wouldn't have looked much different when it first came out. Maybe it would have been like a little bit more fluffy, a little less like tufted, but realistically, like, this is a bag that has been used and it is in beautiful condition. I do think that when you have a few bags in your rotation and you choose your outfits carefully, most of us in the luxury community, we put things in pouches, like, we're very careful, then you can still wear them really freely, but you can also take care of them at the same time. I think the one that I would be most concerned about in terms of fluffy wear and tear is this Astrakhan, and that's because it has this kind of you know, this texture on the base, and, you know, if that got pulled or anything, I don't know, I'm not sure how that would go. But so far so good. I just would not want to get this baby pink on the base dirty, because that's probably the biggest risk with this one. However, this one makes people so anxious, and I love taking this one out. This one is from Ms. Moi. If you had to, which bag would you buy again and again and again? Oh, that is a tough one. It would have to come down to, in exotic anyway, either the Petite Mal. I have two of these, as you're aware. This one is in ostrich that I picked up from Rome in the gorgeous lilac colour. It's my first, and my first true love. And this one in purple coral that I picked up here in the Brisbane boutique, which is absolutely stunning, and that is in metallic lizard. These bags are little jewels and absolutely made for beautiful exotic piece leathers. So yeah, I think it would be between the Petite Mal and the Fendi First. The Fendi First is not my favourite bag from Fendi, but all of my Fendi Firsts are really textured and unique. I have two in the fox, I have one in the mink. I forgot to say mink, so that means that I have 10 different versions. Let me show you the mink one. My Fendi Firsts, 3 of 4 are furry. I have 2 fox and 1 beautiful mink in the blush pink. And I think this bag, again, like the Petite Mal, it's a bit of a statement piece. It's not a piece that you'd wear really day to day, and therefore I think it is really a good bag to buy in statement textures, finishes, furs, leathers, etc. Let me show you the glorious mint coloured one as well. This is just, yeah, it's next level. Live 4. Wanting to get into exotics. What's the best skin for amazing colours and durability and for the best price? Okay, I don't have it, but I think for price, colour and durability, the best exotic would be Karung. It's a type of water snake, and Louis Vuitton have started to do quite a few pieces in the mini capucine and the Petite Mal in this particular finish. It is the most affordable. It's cheaper than lizard. It's about the same price as, oh no, it's cheaper than ostrich as well. So I'd say it's the kind of entry level, and what they can do with the Karung skins, they tend to be able to make them quite metallic. They did a mauve kind of lavender Petite Mal and mini capucine recently. I think I've got some photos I'll pop here. Those ones we assumed they would be quite metallic and have like an iridescent finish, but they actually were quite flat. I know that Meredith didn't really like hers, but I know other people purchased them and quite loved the finish. So I think it's a personal thing. The other option, and remember when we're talking affordable here, you know, we're on a different level. We're talking about luxury handbags, is Galusha. So both Bulgari and Fendi do beautiful Galusha pieces. This is the Petite Peekaboo in Fuchsia Galusha, and you can see this gorgeous kind of ridge up the middle of both sides of the bag. This one retailed for just over 10,000 Australian dollars, and Bulgari do the beautiful Serpenti medium, which I think is the best size. And it also has two hides, one at the front and one at the back, like demonstrated by these kind of pearlescent features. And it's around 8,500, and it's a much bigger bag for your money. Plus you get the Serpenti clasp on the bag, which is always a beautiful feature as well. So I would say check out Fendi and Bulgari. I also believe Bulgari does Karung leather quite a bit as well. The next question comes from Lucy, and she asks, if I had to create another Gary style bag, which animal would I choose? That's a very difficult question for me to answer. You know, I love dogs, but Tom Brown has obviously created the Hector bag. But if it was going to be like a plastic printed bag, J.W. Anderson has obviously done the frog, the hedgehog, the canary, the puffin, like maybe a sloth. A sloth would be cool, like with its little arms. So maybe its body could be kind of, its body could be hard, but its arms could like form the straps of the bag. Would a sloth be cute? I think a sloth would be so cute. Which bag does your husband hate or dislike? I know it doesn't matter, but I think it's funny what they think is fugly. He doesn't like the mohair. He said this one looked like a sheep with a chin strap or something like that. He really did not like this one when I brought it home. He just looks at me and thinks, what the hell are you thinking? He prefers a Charlotte York style of fashion and woman, and you know, he married the wrong gal because there ain't no Charlotte York in this house. From Alicia, has anyone ever thrown shade whilst you were wearing one of your bags? No, they haven't. I have been asked previously on a number of occasions, particularly when it comes to the Fox bags, if they're real, and I say yes. I always answer yes. Actually, I also have sandals. These Fendi Dad sandals are lined in long-haired mink. They are just divine. These have probably got the most comments, and in those moments you kind of have to make a call about whether or not you're going to tell the truth or you're going to tell a little white lie. I always tell the truth because I find that when people ask, it's a genuine interest, and it certainly has been in my experience. And when they have found out, they're like, oh my God, they're glorious. I love them. Next thing they'll say is, where did you get them from? And I'll say, Fendi. And they go, which means that, you know, they know that they're high end. They know that reinforces that they're real. And then they'll make their decision from there. Just a comment, nothing you own is boring or basic. I love it. Thank you very much. Have you ever been tempted to use your mohair baguette or your Fendi First as soft toys? Yeah, that would look beautiful as like little throw cushions, I think, on my bed. Absolutely. Thanks for that question, T42. Carolina.des, what's something that you look for in a handbag that all these bags have in common? Absolutely, it's got to be texture. Texture first. Texture and colour, obviously, are two big pluses for me. The whimsy element is definitely there, but obviously the craftsmanship, like there is no point if you can't execute these pieces to have them in the first place. They have to be finished beautifully. T42 also asks which ones are in your top 3 to 5 in terms of wearability. I actually have 11 because I forgot about pony hair. Okay, the first one, most easily hands down, is this crocodile Fendi Peekaboo in the iconic mini size. This one is so easy to wear because of its size. You can wear it crossbody, handheld, on the shoulder. It goes from day to night. It fits into my wardrobe beautifully. The only thing you need to be careful of is it can't get wet. It comes with a raincoat, which I have used, and it's very effective. So yeah, very, very wearable. The next one is pony hair. It doesn't typically fit into an exotic category, but this is my Gucci Sylvie in pony hair. Now, I would have thought wearing this crossbody you would get a bit of rubbing on the back, but because it's, you know, it's not from the high street, it's actually real, you don't. It's actually really well made and it doesn't splinter off and, you know, get stuck in you. This one is super easy to wear as well because you can wear it crossbody on the shoulder and it has the size. So in terms of wearability, these are the top two. You did ask me for three. Third one is tricky, but I am going to say it is this petite malle because it has a crossbody strap that I can wear with it, so I can keep it on me at all times, and I think that does make a difference. I can also use my Fendi O-Lock chain for these little D-rings just to keep it as a handheld moment as well. So whilst it doesn't have the capacity the others have, I can wear it on me, which is handy. The next question comes from Drug and Dior, and it talks about the maintenance of the fur bags. So effectively I keep my bags on open shelving. I like to keep air circulating around them. I don't keep them in their dust bag, and when I'm not filming, these shutters are closed. Let me show you. So we don't get light in here that affects the bags in any way. The other thing that I like to do with my furs is put a gentle head on my Dyson vacuum cleaner and I vacuum them. Yes, I do. I will run my fingers through them just to make sure that they're, you know, they're spruced up. I don't want to separate the coils too much in the mohair, for example. But yeah, a good old vacuum lifts up the tufts and makes them nice and fresh and new. But obviously, this is what I do. I'm not giving advice. So if you do it and something bad happens, don't blame me. This one is from Debbie. I think I know the answer, but are any of these forever bags, or would you move them on if your lifestyle changed and you find that you use them very, very occasionally? I don't think these bags serve any function other than happiness, smiles, whimsy, fun, playfulness in my collection, and therefore that probably makes them forever bags because they're already occasional bags, Debbie. So you were right. This one is from Pebble Shannon. Is lizard the same as python? Do the scales raise or break over time? It's an interesting question because lizards also shed their skin, but no. So here's a close-up of lizard. It is very much like probably closer to crocodile, I would say. So this is part of the lizard and this is part of the lizard. So this is much more like crocodile skin than it is snake skin, if that makes sense. So it does not lift at all. It's very flat. You can't feel any kind of, let me just be quiet. You can't feel any kind of texture there. Let me close this a little bit. This tiny little Pico Fendi, you can hear those scales lifting. And if I put it at this kind of angle, you can see them. Is that freaking people out? Probably is. So I would say they're very, very different. Imagine this on a really big bag, then yeah, it's going to be a whole different vibe. This question is from Davidi B. Kim. What's your favourite reptilian exotic leather type, and what is your favourite non-reptilian leather? I have to say I think my favourite is crocodile. Having seen crocodiles in the wild, seen crocodiles in captivity, seen the process at the Louis Vuitton atelier and workshop in Agnières about how these hides are treated. Imagine crocodiles, they fight each other. How do you possibly find a crocodile that isn't bruised or scarred in any way that you can make, you know, and you can find enough material to make a beautiful, perfect bag like that? This one here, this is my made to order, has orchid crocodile. It is just spectacular what they can do with the colour on these skins. It is extraordinary, I have to say. There's a reason it costs so much money, and the reason that my made to order has crocodile on it, and this crazy pre-loved find, you know, from $40,000 down to $8,000, there's a reason I jumped on them, because they are worth it. In terms of non-reptilian leathers, I think it's got to go to the ostrich. This is just a very, very beautiful piece. When you see a lot of fake ostrich, it gives you a bad taste for ostrich leather, I think. I certainly had a bad taste for it until I saw it being done in the luxury houses, and it's totally, totally different, I have to say. And also Galusha. Galusha's not a reptile, it's a fish. It's a stingray. So yeah, I think both beautiful, like so many unique dimensions in this, so easy to wear and hardy. So yeah, it's got to be these two. I'll say Anne Gonzalez asks, is buying pre-loved and feeling confident in your purchase? So I guess, how do you do that? Well, the first things that I would say is that you make sure that you buy through a reputable reseller or consigner. I would not be buying this on Facebook Marketplace, for example, if it's not from a reputable place with a shop front who has a reputation to lose and will pin their reputation on every sale forever, lifetime guarantee. I'm not going to buy from them. So that's one thing. Obviously, you can get authenticity done on these pieces, and a lot of the time with these pieces, people have kept the full set. So you'll find the receipt, which I certainly got for my crocodile piece. And also my Fendi mint. Fendi first, you'll get the receipt, you will get the full set, and they give you comfort around the authenticity of the piece as well. I have a discount code for Legit Grails, which is an online authentication service, in my description box below if you're interested, and you can get a discount. This question from W Major 39: has your MTO been overshadowed by your new beauties? Definitely not, but it was my first. It was the one that started all of this. So this is crocodile here. This is an emerald beading and emerald Swarovski crystals in the buckle, and I just had the ruthenium hardware, so you don't even really notice that hardware on the corners, which is what I wanted. I didn't want silver or gold competing with this beautiful piece, but it's such a tiny little piece. It's got my name in it. It will forever be very, 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 it's like a little jewel in my collection. It's probably part of my jewellery collection more so than my bag collection. Lux Purse Love, hi Melinda. She asks, how are you liking the Fendi alligator? It's actually crocodile, this one, but I get why you call them alligators, because you guys don't have crocodiles in America, do you? We don't have alligators here, so that's why I default to crocodile. Is it durable? Is it okay if it gets a little water on it? It's okay, but you can expect for some colour to come off, so I would just pat it dry. And I learned that through popping it down on a damp seat in an Uber and the bag transferring onto my pants because of that kind of dampness. So I didn't see any damage to the bag, but it is definitely something that you need to be mindful of with the colour transfer. Drifting into fantasy, how high maintenance are these beauties? I guess I don't find them to be high maintenance while they're sitting here safely in my closet. It's when you go out that you have to be really careful. So how do you wear them? Handheld, crossbody, top handle. What are you doing? If you're going for a meal, do you have a handbag hook? I always make sure that I have a handbag hook in my handbags. I find that if I put my handbag in front of me, I'm worried about spilling something down the front of me. If I put it behind me, I'm worried about crushing it. If I put it on a chair next to me, the wait staff always seem to serve the food and drinks over that chair, which makes me so nervous. So that's probably where the high maintenance part comes into it. I would typically carry a little plastic shopping bag around inside my bags, all folded up if I don't have a raincoat, just to make sure if it rains, I've got an emergency backup plan in some cases. Colour transfer is probably another one to be mindful of, so being aware of what you're wearing and how you're wearing the bag so that you minimise the abrasion and colour transfer that you might experience as well. So I'd say most of the caring comes when they're out and about rather than here. D Beck 73, do you ever sell them? No, not so far. And it's never occurred to me that I might want to. And I guess I'd go through the same process as I've just talked through about how I buy them. I'd sell them through a consignment store, and I'd give as much of the full set as I possibly could to ensure that the buyer had confidence in that purchase. To shut_your_mouth be. How do you clean them? Please share cleaning products. I don't know how or what to use. Help. I don't. I just use a microfiber cloth. And I just wipe them over, and I just wipe down the hardware. I don't even use like a silver cleaner on the hardware. A microfiber cloth will do everything. Not a damp microfiber cloth either, just a microfiber cloth. If you find that you've got some build-up, you might be able to make it just a tiny bit damp, just a tiny bit. But I would guard against doing anything like that. I would take it to a professional leather smith if you had to do some major cleaning work. I've seen people ruin their ostrich bags by trying to clean them and leaving big marks on them. I'm just like, no. As I said with my furs, touch wood, cross fingers that nothing's gone wrong with those. I give them a little bit of a vacuum, like just to grab any dust mites or anything like that. This one's from Chubette. Do you use the strap for the Fendi First, or do you hand carry? So typically with the Fendi First, I will hand carry like this, or I will kind of hold it like a little baby. But the straps that come with the Fendi First are only good for shoulder wear, and the risk with that is that they will fall off your shoulder, and then you'll cause damage to all of this, really sleek kind of latch there. So what I do is I steal the straps from my mini baguettes because they're longer and they work just as well, and then I can wear them crossbody. So that's my hot tip. If you've got bags that have longer straps, similar toned hardware, preferably from the same brand, but if not, you can get away with it. Yeah, I would wear them crossbody or handheld, or with a shorter strap, by the top handle, rather than on the shoulder, because on the shoulder I think that's the risk that they could fall off. Do I treat my bags with conditioner? No, I do not use any products on my bags at all, just the microfiber cloth. From Fragabilissima, do you wear your crazy pieces according to seasons and temperatures? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. There are no rules. Because of the fact that they are quite whimsy, and the colours that I have, I wear them all year round. Even my mink, my fox, my mohair, all year round. Because this probably sounds a little bit offensive to people who are already triggered by these types of bags, but they really are just a little furry friend. I've not bought them for a season, and in fact the mink was part of the spring-summer season, so that was, interesting, right? Would you add a third fox? If so, what colour should it be? You have been sending me links, Bella, from this third fox, the poppy red one, which I was originally tried. I'm glad I didn't get that. It does not fit my collection whatsoever, so at the moment, with the colourways that were around, and they haven't been made since 2022, I think Meredith talked about that in her made to order video, that they no longer did the Fendi First in the fox. If I got a choice to have a colour done, what would I do? I'd maybe look for an ombre finish, so maybe like a purple up to pink kind of ombre, like sunset finish. That would be pretty. Chelsea.Foster, do you regret buying any of your bags? No, absolutely not. They've all come about at the right time, or opportunity, or price, and so for that reason, I can happily say and honestly say I have no regrets on any of these pieces. Bella also asks, is there a vintage Fendi baguette you'd like to add to your fun collection? Well, I think in addition to the shearling baguette that you have already seen, is there a vintage? Look, there isn't one specifically, but Una recently showed this gorgeous mink piece that she has picked up, and it is absolutely stunning. I don't know if it would fit perfectly into my wardrobe, but I really do love it. I think the thing with vintage is it's about time and place and price and connection. And when it's right, you just jump on it. But I don't go hunting anything. I don't want anything to preoccupy my mind. Bella also asks, is there a texture, fur, sequins or embroidery piece you want to add next? It's probably the same answer. I'd say no. If it comes up, then yes, absolutely I'll look at it, but I'm not actively looking for something. I will say I was keen to buy Karung, but I think that was just more for the price point. I thought that would be great if I could get something cheaper. Yeah. Yeah, potentially, like the mini capucine is something that I have avoided until now, but if there was the right finish in that bag, I would look at that for sure. Rena Hinson asks, is the shearling aging well on the puff baguette? We've had a good look at that one already in this video, so yeah, absolutely. For an occasional wear piece, it's doing fine. Fab Lux Plan. Hi Lolly. Can you get fox wet? I say yes, because it comes from an animal that does get wet. Lol. Well, I would have thought that about crocodile too, but it's more about the colour treatment that it's had rather than the actual original animal. Can you get the fox wet? I'd say you could get a sprinkle on it, but I would be blow drying it immediately. The same with regard to ostrich and lizard. Can they get wet? Ostrich, I think, no, like maybe a little bit of water, but nothing oily at all. And lizard would probably be better, but again, I'd say that it would have the same issue as the croc in terms of how the colour treatment was applied. So I would say just don't get them wet. Avoid at all costs. So that was the end of the questions. Really appreciate the engagement from you guys and the general queries. Look, I think the main takeaways with these pieces are they're for occasional wear primarily, so keep that in mind when you're thinking about things like wear and tear. Be mindful of where you're going and what you're doing and what you're wearing. So if you're going to wear it crossbody and it's rubbing on things, make sure that's not too abrasive. If it is going to be raining, make sure you have a raincoat for it, or you can tuck it underneath your coat or wear it under your coat if possible. If you're going for a dinner or a meal, make sure you have a handbag hook or somewhere safe to put the bag. Be mindful of, you know, hand creams and sanitizers and things like that. Don't try and do a fix-it job on your bag. Leave it to the professionals. Just wipe it with a microfiber cloth and polish up the hardware the same way. Don't use anything on it unless it's from a trained professional. And, you know, if you're brave like me, give your furry ones a little vacuum, but if you're not, don't. Yeah, I love them. I think that you want to make sure if you're buying pre-loved, go through a keen signer to ensure as much as possible that you have authenticity, or at least a guarantee if you find out that it's not. Make sure that you get your CITES certificate if you buy from the store, and if the original owner has CITES certificate, get that too. CITES means that you can travel with your piece. It costs something ridiculous like $3 Australian to register for your permit, and they expire every 6 months. Would I travel with exotics? Probably not, just to avoid the headache. A lot of people shared with me that traveling with things that are more obviously exotic, like crocodile and lizard, are really quite tricky to travel with. I travelled with ostrich and fox, and that was absolutely fine. They did not need CITES here, so always good to be aware of what CITES requirements you need to travel with your pieces. Obviously, if you're traveling across Europe, for example, then, you know, it's €1 But as soon as you leave there, you need to be mindful of the different areas that you enter into and their requirements for customs and duties and border control. Is there anything else that I would mention? Look, I think it's absolutely important that you fall in love with these pieces, that you have responses ready for any naysayers, and that you stand behind them, and it's not going to stop you from wearing them and taking them out. They're not ornaments, they're bags. They're meant to be used and loved. You bought them for that reason. Stand by it and really enjoy it. I hope this video has been helpful for those of you who are considering or have started a collection. I am by no means an expert. This is just my experience and my collection. I hope you've enjoyed looking at the eye candy as well, and it's been somewhat useful, if not just, you know, a little trip into a whimsy place called my closet. But let me know what you think, and any outstanding questions or advice you have in the comment section down below. It would be really helpful to hear that from you. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'd love to see you back for the next one. Ciao.